Hi, welcome everyone. Welcome to the 11th hour by Breakthrough Conversations. Nothing creates an opportunity for leadership to shine like uncertainty. Nothing creates a platform for leadership like ambiguity. Nothing calls out for great leadership like a crisis. But are you leading through the crisis or managing the response? These are some of the questions that we wish to explore today on 11th hour Money and You Breakthrough Conversations. Hi, my name is Terence. I'm a coach, I'm a trainer. I lead business organizations throughout Southeast Asia. And with me, we have Izam Yusof, a former CEO and now turned business strategist with more than 30 years of experience working with numerous entities to transform their business. Welcome, Izam.
Hi, Terence.
Hi. Today we're talking about leadership. According to a research by Harvard Business Review, crises are most often overmanaged and under-led. What are your thoughts on this?
That's a very big topic. Well, again, for today, just want to context it. Everybody's a leader and everybody is a manager. So when we talk about managing and leading, sometimes intertwined. What we need to understand is what kind of weightage do we lead and what kind of weightage do we manage. Normally, when we lead people and we manage the work. So when we have that distinctions, I think it will be easy to be in that leadership role and manage the work and not managing the people. So in crisis, there are certain time that the emotional goes up and then the intelligence maybe go down a bit because we are stuck. So knowing this distinction at the beginning, what to manage and what and who to lead would give us a bit of insight onto taking the next step. That's some initial feedback from me, Terence.
Thank you. Like when you talk about leading people, managing task. Okay, and when task is managed, fantastic, and leading people, what about the people that we should lead in this condition? What is leadership in this conversation you're talking about?
It's I'm sure as we're talking on this happy lab, there are various scenarios. How I would view it, my thoughts initially. There are certain people when you lead, you can just tell them and they know what to do. And there are people you need to handhold. And there are people you need to sit down and really work with them. So you need to know the distinguish within your team. I'm not talking about segregation from top to bottom kind of environment. It could be with the same number of people that we have within the management team. Some people you need to sit down and really think, how do we get out of this situation within this crisis? And some people you can just pass them into what to do next and do the thinking. So it varies. It varies. I'm sure you or whoever's running the organization, they would have a flavor in terms of who they should tell to do something, to guide, and also some they should be sitting down and really think the way forward. So that could be some initial steps for them to really put their thoughts together.
I see. Okay, like then what you're talking is just leading in conversations and with regular teams, right? Then what's the distinction in leadership during this crisis period compared to all the other times? For audiences watching this, would you like to comment like what's the difference between leadership during this crisis period compared to regular times?
Well, one thing that I think is important is we got to get our facts right. In current environment, in crisis, a lot of things happening, and we put some assumptions in place, and we know some things are going in the direction, and those things are not permanent. So again, in our previous sessions, in 11th hour, what's our new reality? We got to really have that concrete, clear in terms of what's our new reality, what's happening in the industry, what's happening in our company, what kind of emotions are happening, and then designing or preparing our new normal. So that could be a good start as well. So and then again, we don't take counsel from this 11th hour. This is a thought process on how they can start framing their mind and looking into what are the steps they need to start thinking. If they are doing this, how to refine this further. So the distinctions of taking the first step and moving on, taking this forward is extremely important.
Okay, like looking at this, it's like most company right now is either very, very cash strapped. Okay, they have stopped business for a couple of months. Cash flow is down to at least a minimum. For those lucky companies that have a thick cash flow, fantastic. But for those companies with very little cash left, and plus they probably have cut a lot of their staff's salary or fired some staff, the whole company is kind of like running, but with very skeleton staff. Everyone is overworked and they're cash strapped. The boss asks them to do 5 people's job. So, in that condition, when you talk about leadership, what would you need to do?
Well, it's you're putting a lot of things in one plate. So what I would do normally is just dissect and putting things into perspective, which has to be prioritized and looked into. Then from there, see what's urgent and important, and then start relating to the cash flow, and then start planning the steps slowly ahead. You know, like now everybody's coming back to work after the MCO, so there are more clarity into what's happening in the office. There are certain emotions are up, certain emotions are stabilizing. So all these things, that again, when I mentioned earlier that we need to get our facts and putting things on the table, and then from there, with that clarity, like we learn in Money and You, clarity leads to power. So that's when we start making decisions in terms of, or making choices, what steps we want to take forward. And nothing is certain. In this environment, you're going to say you think whatever that you're doing is going to give you a result. And again, if it's related to cash flow, you're tight. So what's available for you now? So let's put it on the table and start weighing the option, what's important that we need to use the cash for. So that's what I think, that's what I would do.
Got it. And when you're talking about what's important, dissecting and what's important in the context of leadership, like what would be the top thing to look at in the area of leadership? Yeah, we are leading people. What's the most important thing? Everyone is in what they call nervous or probably chaotic or uncertain. As a leader, what would be dissecting the things to do and what is the most priority at this point in time?
What we learn from Money and You of the business school, that cash is the lifeline, the blood, the blood flow, you know, kind of. So what I would do is normally I would say how much we've got now, where can we get the cash from, how much time can we delay or having a payment scheme with the creditors, and how much can we collect from our client now and within a certain period. So knowing how much cash I have or the company has at the moment is extremely important at the moment, because nothing moves without cash. So, and then look at the team. So again, when you look at the team, what's important, of course, there are certain hard decisions that you have to make, whether who you should retain, who you should put aside at the moment, and what kind of framework you want to leave. All boils down to how much cash you have now, what kind of cash flow you can generate in the quick win or short term, and how long can you progress, and what do you need to do in the medium and long term. So all these things are heavily in the head of the leader at the moment, and start making small steps when you have more clarity, information moving forward, and start making those decisions. And if you try to lump everything into one and then try to communicate everything to your team, you know, with the emotion and intelligence are moving up and down in this crisis, is very challenging. And then there's no perfect answer to the situation, Terence.
Yeah, and then for those that want to ask more questions, please feedback below. We'll do our best to answer more questions for you. There's one thing that came about, which is like, people talk in all these things, company culture and so on and so forth. But at this point in time, we are talking about laying off people. At this point in time, we're talking about people getting pay cut. How do you lead their morale? And their morale is like, in this point in time, their staff morale.
Wow. No matter, I say, will give enough comfort to any leaders who have to be in front of the team and say such things. Being in that position is very challenging. What I would say in general in this 11th hour would be just be authentic and honest. Just be upfront, because there are choices that the leaders have to make. So that's all I've got, because there are, when you start doing that into detail, of course you need to have plans that who can support you moving forward, with what kind of agility you need in terms of moving forward, who you can put to rest at the moment for temporary, or who you need to let go permanently. It all depends on how you want to move forward. So I would not envy you to be in that position, and I respect you to communicate this truthfully to your team. And it has to be as it is at the moment, because or else you'll sing together, the organization sing together with the team, and no value can be added in the future. That's all I've got.
Yes, you can be truthful, but like a morale is still down. Anything else that you can add on to it?
It's quite challenging being in that position. It's quite difficult, because when this thing happen, you want to manage your emotion and you want to manage the team's emotion. One is staying back and one who has to leave, especially when you have worked with them over long period. Say the company has been around for quite some time, and it has to be done. So one thing, as a leader, you have to take a position, and this is what you think is best now with all the information that you have. You want to move forward, and of course the emotion will run up and down. So be focused in your business, and manage the empathy to the team, and then just tell the truth with compassion. I think that's the best, that how we learn in Money and You to take the next step.
Got it. So there's no way of sugarcoating or making it nicer for anyone else.
Well, if you were to do that, you're not being honest to the whole thing, and everybody can read through the news, look at the environment within the industry, and those people that we employ are not there on just that moment. They've been in the industry for quite some time. They know what's happening. So what is there to sugarcoat? What is there to hide when things are in the open at the moment? Just the question now is, how do we survive moving forward? How do we start building the block again to make it better for the leader and the team and the organization? So this has to have a certain thought process. So like I mentioned earlier, when we begin, that it's all about thought process, the thinking. There's no real solution in terms of, when you do this will happen. As you go along, you would know your gut feel, or with the information that you have, and then you would have to make certain choices. When you make that choice, so just have to be with it, and then start making correction. And like I mentioned the previous 11th hour. So as we go forward, we are 97% as the rocket goes to the moon and making correction. Only 3% we're on target. So this is the time where nobody have gone through it. So there's no perfect solution for it. Everybody would have framework for it. So it has to be tested and adjust yourself along the way. So again, like what I mentioned, when you know your new reality, it's not fixed. You keep on being updating. The same thing with your new normal. As you go along, you keep on adjusting as you go along, what fits you well to move. So that kind of leadership gives you agility and a certain focus in terms of steering the organization to the direction that possibly will give you an opening to better insight and results, of course.
Yeah, you talk about the thought process again. Would you like repeat the thought process a bit in a summary way to the audience before we end today?
One is about managing priorities, and second, get as much information as you can. And the most important thing that I got from going through this is really do your new reality, the assumptions, what's really important to you, put it down, and then only design your new normal. So new normal, what you think, it could be different what you want to implement moving forward. So having the distinction, looking at your new reality and your new normal, and taking the next step will give you a bit more comfort as you go along. So in closing, one is get your information, two, manage your priorities, and third, really know your environment, your new reality. And then when you design your new normal, it really matches the gap that you're trying to fill in. So I think in summary, that's what I would do if I were to look into a situation and strategize moving forward.
Got it. Thank you. Izam and I are running a 2-hour Master Business Builder program this Saturday, 10 a.m., 27th July 2020. We have 2 seats left. We're looking for 2 more people to join our small group, an intimate coaching session this Saturday, where Izam and I will work with you in a business to get you through whatever you're going through. So there's a link below, so please click on it, and then we'll see you on this Saturday. And there, we'll help you discover the results of your new reality. We'll dissect what works and what doesn't work in your business, and we reinforce the business principles with 8 keys to your business survive, stabilize, and thrive. And the last one is to increase your performance during these tough times. So these are the things that we'll be working with you this Saturday. So if you're interested, please click on it. And as well as if there are any questions further on this topic, please comment below so we can answer your questions. Thank you.